Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. This is in response to a viewer's question. Why do narcissists get so lucky with empaths? If you notice, a lot of us are sitting here ruminating. Some of us are done and over, but others of us are like, what did we do wrong? Or how can we try? Can we get this person back? Are they going to Hoover? Do I reverse Hoover? What does the future hold? Is a new supply ever gonna, is there ever gonna be any karma? There's all these thoughts going through our head. So why do they get so lucky to have somebody that dedicated to them? Part of it is in the beginning. They are out trying to find their victim. And I mean, if you think about it, who do you want to be with? You want to be with a jerk, or you want to be with a nice person? So they gravitate towards nice person. Usually those are people. So usually that's an empathetic person. So they kind of weed through things. They also see what opportunities are out there. They can take advantage of things where the narcissist will prey on your vulnerabilities. So if you're down and out, that you just broke up with somebody, or a parent just passed away, or some devastation came to your life, the narcissist will use that. And I'll tell you, when I was pregnant, my ex and I broke up, and that was the most intense time that I was hit on. I was pretty lucky. I didn't really look pregnant. The biggest my waist got was 32 inches, and then she dropped, it was 34 inches. I gained 55 pounds. I just wasn't showing that I was pregnant. So people that knew I was pregnant wanted to save the day. It was almost like their opportunity. Like, this is an easy end. It's a damsel in distress. So a lot of times men or certain people, depends on your situations, but in traditional sense, they want to be the hero. So they figure it's kind of easier to be somebody's hero, because if you can help somebody, they're gonna kind of rely on you. They're kind of stick around. If somebody's down and out, and you're feeding them, they're not going to leave you. So whatever the situation is, they latch onto the situation. Whether you need housing, they think it's an easy way to trap you. If you need a ride to work, they're like, oh, now you're going to owe me something. So as the relationship progresses, we invest more. The narcissist takes more. And they love bomb us in the beginning to secure us, to, in a sense, purchase us. And then it flips on us, though. So we think that we're in a real relationship, and because of all the trauma bonding that goes on, the intermittent reinforcement is what causes a trauma bond. And if you look back in the past on your relationship with your narcissist, fantastic in the beginning. You call them, they answer the phone, they call you, you're there, you're always doing things together, they stop by, they surprise you, fantastic gifts, everything's perfect. It's everything you wanted. And we see it as, this is going to continue, like we're on cloud 9. And then reality sets in. The narcissist doesn't want any flaws, because when they see flaws, it's a mirror. They mirror us. So in the beginning, they want to be like us. There's something good about you, so just take that to heart. They saw the good in you. And it's not like they want to take it so they can have it, not to share it. And that's where you got to understand, we want to share. We want the energy bouncing back and forth and keeping an even keel. But the narcissist, when they take it from us, it knocks us down. So as empathetic people, we try to understand things. We try to make things better. We are very dedicated, especially if you got married. You probably took your vows to heart. The narcissist took it as securing supply. Like, I got to say this, and, oh, forsaking all others. Okay, I guess we got to say it. Deep in their heart, they're just spewing words. Have you ever signed a contract that you didn't read? I have. You're like, I don't even want to deal with it. Just, okay, I'll trust you. I'll trust you. And that's kind of how the narcissist goes into a relationship. I don't care what the fine print is. I don't care what this is. I don't care what I have to do. I'll just sign it. I get what I want. And we were fooled. We were fooled. Like when we present, let's say, a contract of marriage, it's like, we're like, no, trust me, you don't, we want them to read everything. But as an analogy, we're like, you can totally trust what's in here. I'm not going to screw you over. The narcissist is like, here's my contract. I don't even know what it says. And I don't plan on upholding it. It's all word salad to make you, enter into this falsity. But they just don't stand behind their words. They say what they need to say to get us. And we're in this messed up sense of self as the relationship continues. So we saw how beautiful it could be. We felt that the person loved us. They were taking from us. But if somebody truly loves you, you work through things, you make it better, you try. But the narcissists, they don't like putting the effort in. And so as we get the breadcrumbs, they give us just enough to almost bring us up. And then they're just so rotten inside. They're so kind of evil. It's just take. It's all a game to them. Sometimes they get a kick out of us hurting, or they get an ego stroke on how much we try. So they've learned to train us. It's like that Pavlov's dog, where you give them, treats consistently. You ring a bell, they get a treat. You ring a bell, they get a treat. And then it's kind of like sporadic, intermittent, and they don't know what's going on. And they saw that the dogs started salivating every time they heard a bell ring because they expected a treat, but they didn't always get a treat. But they're salivating, their mouths, their brain, probably their stomach juices, they're expecting something. And that's where we are. We're so trained to expect something, but then it's intermittent and we're confused. Like, I'm sure that dog was confused. Like, what's going on? Like, I heard a bell, looking around and thinking, what's going on? And then almost like, it gets to that addictive state to where, just like people who smoke cigarettes or do drugs, you start fiending for it. And you're starting, like, your focus is all like, this is what I have to have. I need it now because I expect it. And a lot of times when they do the ghosting and the silent treatment, it freaks us out, because they did studies where the things that go on in our brain is the same as like a cocaine withdrawal. So we're going into this withdrawal, and we're just, sometimes if you were an addict, like, I got to buckle down, this is going to be a hard couple of weeks getting through this, or you start searching for your fix, which hopefully you don't do drugs, but it's human nature on how we handle certain situations. So the narcissist knows we're an addict now. We're an addict now to them. And, just like a drug dealer, they're like starting to toy with it. Like, okay, kind of like, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'll give you whatever. Just get me a pack of gum. And you're like, I don't have the money. He's like, just go take it. You're like, but so then you're like in a desperation mode. And this is an analogy to where you're like, I would never do that, but it's easy, I guess. Like, I need my fix. So let's say the narcissist puts a demand on us, whether it's a certain sexual favor that we won't do, or, I'll take you out Friday night if you watch my kids on Thursday. So they're starting to get us to do things for them. Just like the drug addict, they'll start, or the drug dealer. So they'll start playing with it. Like, what can I get from this? And then it turns into almost, sometimes it's a conscious game. Other times it's subconscious, but they'll play with it more and more. They'll take more and more. I did a video on another one where it was my friend's husband wanted me to sleep with him. And he was telling me, which I didn't want to be with him, but he was telling me to tell my best friend, why don't you just let me rent your husband out? And I know you need that new couch. And he was trying to get me as a flying monkey, knowing what she wanted. And it was just like a sick mind game. Like, they can't see straight. They can't think straight, that, they don't uphold boundaries. But to get to the question a little bit more at hand is, why did they get so lucky? Because they trained us, just like Pavlov's dog. They've trained us. They've breadcrumbed us to death. They've talked us through all these word salads to where we're confused. So now when we're starting to figure things out, or trying to figure things out, our brain's in overload, and we put all this investment into it. So now we feel invested, even though we didn't have answers, even though we weren't even interacting with them sometimes. But the thought processes we're going through is making it more important to us. Like, I just invested in this. I invested so much in it. And, you know, we see the beginning of the love bombing stage when it was good. We know they're capable of it. And we felt what felt like love because they wanted to be in love. So they went through the motions. But deep inside, they don't have connections with people. And once they start seeing that they don't have the connection, that's where they're going to devalue you. They're going to, usually if you're in love with somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, can't you just make the bed? Like, why's it got to be such a hassle? As opposed to, you know what, I'm about to discard you. You're out the door if you can't follow my rules. But in a loving relationship, you both either come to an agreement, like, all right, I'm not going to make the bed, but I promise I'll do the dishes. Like, there's ways to work around things so we both respect each other. But we're trying to get respect back. And it hurts. It's hard for us to walk away because we are empathetic, because we do feel that there should at least be some common courtesy, you know, that we deserve respect for everything we've done for them, been through, the things that we've tried. And it's really sad that they come to the discard phase, because instead of taking a step back, or instead of handling the situation the correct way, it's easier for them to start over, or they're easily tempted, just like kids, you know, a bright new shiny toy, they forget their favorite toy. They forgot it. They don't even care about it anymore. And the narcissist is in a childlike state. They don't appreciate what they have. And then they start taking it for granted. And when they do that, we invest more, even if it's just the mental energy. So we have our mental energy, we have what we've been trained, we have the intermittent reinforcement, super crazy trauma bond. And they get lucky. I think what you're saying is, how do they have a good person? How do they have all the things that we do for them? How do they have somebody so dedicated to them? It's because they purchased us. They trained us. They Stockholm syndromed us. They put us into that Stockholm syndrome where we love our abuser, because we've lost our sense of reality, because we're believing this was reality. And if it's reality, it can be achieved. But it wasn't reality. It wasn't real. You know, if you're trying to tug at their heartstrings, you're tugging at something that isn't what they portrayed it to be. You know, so if you're tugging at, don't you care about me, or don't you love me? It's like, I just said that. I just went through the motions. So when we're tugging, like trying to, you know, can't you remember when we did this and how great it was? And we're tugging at air. So they get lucky because it's all a facade. You know, just like, look at all these like rock stars, movie stars. Look at all the women that chase after them, or men too. It's because of the image. You know, look at all the people that fall in love with people they've never met. Look at Elvis, how many people were like swooning and fainting and crying, and they never met him. It's the image, it's the facade. That's what a relationship with a narcissist is a facade that they suck us into. And we believe we just got to be the luckiest person in the world. Just like Priscilla Presley probably thought that she was the luckiest person in the world. Like, oh my gosh, king of pop, or whatever he is, king of rock. I don't even know, the king. But she felt like she was the luckiest person in the world. And it turns out he was pretty hard on her. So when you're worrying about this new supply, are they luckier? They're just another Priscilla Presley. From the outside, everybody's like, oh, I wish I was her. But he had complete control over her. She couldn't wear makeup or could not be seen without makeup on. She had to sleep in makeup. He would not look at her if she didn't have it on. He chose her hair color, her clothing. It's just an abusive cycle. And she lost herself. We lost ourselves because we fell in love with like the outside looking in Elvis, the facade. But when we see what the real person is, were we really lucky? Was she really lucky? So we try to be with that outside person. In reality, we were with the inside person. But we see it from the outside sometimes. And that's what we want to get back to. Because they brought us into that world. But that world wasn't real. And over time, it sunk back into reality. And the narcissist, it just starts getting toxic. It gets into that snowball of poor communication. You know, narcissists get along good if it's superficial. If it's superficial and their needs are met and they're number one. But as soon as they have a difference in what they want to do, arguments happen because it has to be about them. They don't want to do anything for the other person. There's no give and take. And it's just a mess up situation. So thank you for your question. Topic requests are always welcome. I hope that helps. And it's because they play games, because they lie, because we look from the outside in, and because we try harder than most people would, because we believe in love. And you should believe in love. But because they lack empathy, they don't know how to love. Or they don't feel love. They know how to act love. They know how to act it. But that's exhausting to them, to act their whole lives. So I hope that helps. See you in the next video.